where your courtiers could sleep. There's also a chapel in there. And the bottom level was for your supporters. I won't say army, because the building of security, you don't need hundreds of people, 20 maximum to protect you. Now originally there were dungeons down in the basement. Why did the wall have a Well, some years ago, it was about 6-7 years ago.
The oldest part of the Tower of London, the old original walls. This is where Anne Boleyn was beheaded.
Chcę dobrze.
Inside London Tower, these are the old quarters. London Bridge in the distance. Inside the tower. Right down through the middle of Italy. That's the eastern coastline of Italy. Flying over the tip of Italy now. Into the Aegean. Islands off the coast of Greece. We're over Greece now. You can see how mountainous it is. We'll be landing in Athens in about 15 minutes. These are the Greek islands in the Aegean. This is the original 11th century church, the Catholic religion. We're in Plaka, the original capital of Greece. This is the main Roman Catholic church in Plaka, which is now Athens, of course. just inside the old 11th century Greek Catholic Church. And this is the outside. Below the Acropolis, looking up from the stadium to the Acropolis. In the background is Athens. Off in the distance there is a Temple of the Nine Muses. This is dedicated to the Temple of the Nine Muses.
Doric columns. So you see again, the Doric column is the oldest in date and the most simple column. It has no base and no ornaments on the capital. And now up there you see the beautiful
Inside the Acropolis now, and this is the Temple of Athena from the outside. This is the outside entrance to the Acropolis. You see the people are going up there, they're on a winding walkway. The reason it was built that way is because of animals. And when they took the animals up there, they couldn't use the steps, so they built it in this manner. So it's staggered.
Allora scarico, sì sì.
This thing is France. I feel like
This is looking back towards the outer entrance, away from the Parthenon. This is a temple that's up on the Acropolis. It's dedicated to three gods. The goddess Athena, the god Neptune, and one other god. There's three separate buildings there. It's a room. It's all one building with three separate rooms.
After they forced the people to fire.
The Acropolis is not square. There's 8 columns there. There's 16 columns there. And on the other side, there's 7 columns. It's not built squarely.
You can't save everything, can you?
We're on the Acropolis Hill, and there's Athens out in the distance. That's Mahilia. That's where all the marble came from that all of these buildings were made of. They transported the marble from there to here, did all the construction. Temple of Athena.
Thanks.
It's you, the ladies and that. I love it.
Thanks.
You can see all the construction workings in the back there. They're rebuilding the Acropolis.
Not too many.
This is the front of the Parthenon. Mount Iliad is that distance, and that's Athens, from looking out on the point of from the point of the Acropolis. There's an old temple down in towards the city of Athens from the Acropolis mountain. The other side of the Temple of Athena and the interior. These are all old pieces from the temple, the Parthenon, in a museum on Acropolis. From the Acropolis, an old stadium down there. These are blocks that have fallen out of the Parthenon. That they're all marked and they're stored and they're saving and they're replacing them. The marble that came from Mount Iliad, or gate, that was built 700 years after the original entrance to the Acropolis. You go up to the Acropolis and then the winding pathway that went up to the top. But this was all built 700 years after the original gate was built. The Acropolis from ground level. This is the street level where I didn't let you get on the bus. State Senate building. Hermes, messenger of the gods. Dated 330 BC. This is at the Olympia ruins. This is dug up out of the ruins. This is a bust of Alexander the Great, dug up here at the Olympia ruins. Very good. These are all statues that were dug up out of the ruins of Olympic Stadium. These are all dated around 400 BC in that area. There is the 400 BC discus. There's the weight thrower, the weight. These are two handheld weights that they had a contest with. That's a shot put weight there. Here's two more of those handheld weights that the athletes used. And this is how they were held and used. This is a weight that is held by one hand. You can see the grips down there, and it's to be lifted over your head and heaved. Can you imagine that? 316 pounds that weighs. You can see the inscriptions on the top described what it was. These are all statues that have been retrieved out of the Olympic area. There is Centaur doing battle with someone. You can see two hands up to his fist, up to his head, and he's holding off someone, but that's Centaur doing battle. There is where the only woman that's allowed in the games sat or perched herself. That was the only woman that was allowed to watch the games, and she was some honorary person. There's the judges' stand. That's where the judges stand. Now the odd thing about this thing is, see all that distance there? There's the finish line right there. And the judges' stand is back here. They had a tough time determining a winner if it was close. There's the finish line right in front of us. Line right there, and the finish line right there. It's 600 feet to the end of the stadium. There's an athlete out there running now. There's a start-finish line. This stand here, where the only lady in the game sat, she was the daughter and wife of two winners of the games that had died, and so they honored her by letting her be the only lady that could come in here and watch the games being played. I'm standing in the middle of Olympic Stadium. 453 BC is when the games started here, held every 4 years. They lasted 5 days. Isn't that a dandy trying to pick a winner when the finish line is down there? There's the finish line right there. They had to pick a winner from sitting right there. This is the entrance to the stadium where the athletes came in. I'm all by myself in the stadium now. This is the entrance again. Finally caught it when nobody was in it. I'm standing in the temple of Zeus. Zeus oversaw the games. He was the god that oversaw all of the games. And if you can notice here, see the round columns there laid out? In 521 AD they had an earthquake and they toppled over. And they've been laying there like that ever since. That was in 521 AD. There's the base of this column right here. This is the Temple of Zeus. This stands right in the middle of the whole Olympic complex outside the stadium. See, there's some more of the columns that fell on that earthquake. This is the outside of the Temple of Zeus. The overall ground site outside the stadium. I'm standing on the upper level. The Olympic site was dug out from 16 feet beneath where I am right now, the whole level of the Olympic site. I'm standing on the present level now, and that's 16 feet below where I'm standing. It's the largest church in Greece. It's the patron church of the church in Scotland, St. Andrew's Church, where the golf course is. This is the patron church. Largest church in Greece. I wasn't allowed to go in here because I got shorts on. I wasn't going to go unpack my bag and put the pants on. We're in Patra. It's the third largest port in Greece, 150,000 people. Corinthian Gulf. This is the castle guarding the Corinthian Gulf, built in the 16th century. This is Rio. This is the port of the Corinthian Gulf. We're looking at the Peloponnese peninsula side of the Gulf. Now that's the Corinthians. That's the Corinthian Sea out there. This is the mainland side of the Corinthian Gulf. It takes a half hour. We're on a ferry. It takes a half hour to cross on the ferry, and go back to the mainland over there on the way to Delphi. That's the Corinthian Gulf. We saw the Corinthian Canal, which is the outlet of this gulf, into the Aegean. On the other side of the gulf here is the Ionian Sea. That's the Ionian Sea out there. There's a ship going through the gulf into the Ionian, into the Corinthian Sea. Another ferry coming across. It's the mainland. There's the Ionian Sea. The castle at Antonia on the Peloponnese Peninsula side. It's the Corinthian Sea out there. Guarding the mainland side of the gulf. Line up with other ferries. 453 BC. Parthenon sticks right out, the finger that sticks right out into the These are the only pillars of the Ionic style that are 16 flute. All the others of the Ionic style, like in the Parthenon, are 21. They're a lot wider apart. This is the front of the temple. See the stairs or the steps going up to it there. This is So Union Bay. This is looking south down the Aegean. Canal. It's about a good sand wedge wide. This is the other side of the canal. It connects the Ionian and the Aegean Sea. Looking at the Aegean side of the canal here now, I would say that it's about 2 miles long and about probably a half a mile deep. It looks to be about 200 feet deep to the bottom from the bridge I'm on to the canal level. On the Peloponnese Peninsula, I find out now that the canal is 3 miles wide and 286 feet deep, 75 feet wide at the bottom, and 23 feet water depth. This is the Peloponnese Peninsula we're on now, across the canal.
The island of Pelops. I'll speak about Pelops tomorrow, because he was the legendary
This is the town of Corinth we're going through.
Started 550 to 525 BC. The Temple of Apollo, 6th century BC, from the Greek city. The rest that you look at is Roman.
Excuse me. Okay.
This was built in 1200 BC and has never been restored as original. Of the father of Agamemnon. A triangle is called the triangle of life because see the slab right beneath it? They built it that way to take the pressure off the middle of the slab, so therefore it's called the triangle of life. It's 1200 BC this was built.
Where are you from? It's closer station. They start see like this time.
It's called the Temple of Mycenaeus. Entrance to the Temple of Mycenaeus. You see the two lions up there. It's called the Lion's Den, entrance to the Lion's Den. BC, Mycenaeus Acropolis. The kings were buried at the very bottom, and then the queen next, and the children next, and such. This is the way they have their tombs. See, it's circular. There's we're at the top of the palace. It consists of 3 rooms. We're standing in one of them on the very edge. This is the room I'm standing in. And there's the large room. And the third room over there is where the people are. But this is the palace proper of Mycenae. The palace was placed on this Acropolis for the obvious reason. He could see his enemies coming up from the valley from a long way off. The Mycenaean palace, there's a fortress. There are the graves right down there that we were just in. Right there is the graves. You see the circle around the tombs. This is looking down on the 3 rooms. The reason the site was picked for the Acropolis because there was a spring here. This is where the spring was. This Acropolis is strategic, but also it has a spring which none of the other mountains have. It's a valley. Back at the entrance, and by the way, that's the first known coat of arms in history, Mycenaeus Palace, put there by Agamemnon. These are 17th century king's graves, farther down the mountain from the palace than the 16th century graves. They're all graves of kings and their families. It's a Venetian castle built in the 12th century. This is the Bay of Napoli. There is Napoli. We're staying here tonight. That's the Acropolis of Napoli. 1200 BC. So you can see the steps going up to it. There are over 900 steps to get up there. Obviously, that's not the place I'm going up there. That's worse than the pyramids. That's the only way out. Beach of Naphtali. Quite exclusive, I may add. It's only for the patrons of the hotels. And I'm told there's nude bathing. I'm told. I can't zoom in any further or I would. The city of Naphtali. Guarding the city is the big castle. You can see some people braving it, going up there. These are the plains of Argos, behind Naphtali. Many wars were fought here.
They have property lines where they just build right on top of one.
Naphtali.
Yeah, there's no space.
This is the view from my hotel room. This is the Castle Pyramidi. By the way, this castle was built in 1491 by the Venetians. They built the city of Naphtali, and they named it Naphtali because it reminded them of Naples. This is a small Venetian harbor on the mainland side. Built by the Venetians, of course.
Some of the little things,
During the city tour of the site of Delphi.
This is a 2nd century BC pedestal that was made by Apollo and is supposed to depict the center of the earth. This is a 7th century BC urn on a tripod that was supposed to have been made by Apollo also. We're in Delphi. These are in the museum.
Between the two states, a big empire was destroyed. So he thought, because of the gifts he dedicated, that he was going to destroy his enemy's empire. But finally it was resolved that he had to let himself die. So 560 BC. Over
These
here
are solid
we have
gold ornaments and decorations.
the statue of Apollo, the different sizes of the heads. and the importance given to the different divinities. Apollo was the major divinity of Delphi, bigger. His twin sister Artemis or Diana, not as big. And the mother counted for a little head.
Was that the Medusa?
It's not a very good mixture of different ivory things that you see here were all attachments of the throne. That's why the ivory survived. Gold and ivory imported from Egypt. Because at that time we didn't have things that had been damaged, and we discovered the excavations all over Greece. We had discovered such space. That's why we have so many things
Lived out of a bull's skin and mounted. This was built by the Mesopotamians. Say it resembles the Sphinx in Egypt, except this was built by the Mesopotamians and it has wings. That's the difference. These are off of the top of the temple of Delphi. These are all images and statues from the Temple of Delphi, the oracle. There's a gargoyle off of the temple facade on the outside. All of these statues represent the arrival of Apollo to Delphi in the year 510 BC. This is a sacrificial block for animals. That's Apollo. This is the makeup of the way this originally looked. This is a charioteer. You can see the reins of the horses in his hand there. 470. We're in Delphi. Now that's the oracle site.
Where's the spot on the map? You are here.
We're actually just off the map over here. So close spot. The first ruins we'll see on this level, over there, the columns, the Roman market. That's the reconstruction of it. The Roman market. The square in front of the shops was paved with marble slabs, but none survives. We're going up the steps. We'll follow the path. It's called Saved Way, which stops in front of the Temple of Apollo, but we'll continue higher up. We'll go to a theater. On the way up, you're going to see pedestals that once supported statues, mostly bronze statues, only the pedestals we see today, and foundations of buildings, these little buildings over here called treasuries. Remember, not for money, but for the safekeeping of the precious objects dedicated to Apollo, or sometimes spoils from the different battles that the people dedicated to Apollo. We'll see the reconstructed treasury of the Athenians, which is the photograph on your ticket, or here, for the site. That's the building here, and it's close to the area where we had the first sanctuary for goddess Earth, the one that was guarded by the snake. We have the retaining wall over here, which is called lesbian wall, because the kind of masonry applied wall survived hundreds of earthquakes because there is no mortar used. There is enough, it's fourth embankment hewn out of the hillside, 6 for the south. And in situ we have the starting and the finishing line, but here we have the judges stand facing the finishing line. And same lines, starting and finishing as in Olympia, you've seen exactly the same. 18 marble slabs with the parallel grooves to serve as a footwell for the athlete's feet. So 18 people could run at the same time. The reconstruction of the training complex for the athletes exactly below the roads, over there. You see the different buildings. The long portico had the same length as the running track of the stadium, 580 feet in length, for the athletes to exercise in the foot races. But they had enough exercise moving from one place to the other. The round pit that you see at the side here, that was a swimming pool for the athletes to have a bath after the end of their training. Temples for Athena. We don't know the purpose of that. We also had 2 altars and 2 treasuries. So this is what you can see here.
This is a shopping mall. These are little shops up on Delphi. We're on Mount Parnassus. That's where Delphi is located, on Mount Parnassus. Little shops for the shopkeeper. This is the treasury room.
Yeah, if you want to take pictures.
This is supposedly the center of the universe. Apollo sent out 2 golden eagles, and 1 in each direction, and this is where they landed, right here. This is the front of the treasure building. This is a sanctuary of Athena. It's below Delphi, a short distance. It's a commemorative stone of some sort. Sanctuary of Athena. up there higher is Delphi. See it up there? We're just down from that. And that's Mount Parnassus. It's the Treasury Building. This is the view from my hotel room. I'm out on my balcony. This is directly below my room. There's a little garden down there. I'm 6 stories up from the first floor. God knows how far it is to the bottom. That's a little garden down there. We're on a little town. We're in a little town sitting right on the side of the mountain. It's fantastic. There's a valley down below. This is where we are, the little town on the side of the mountain, Arakova. This is in a little shop, and I'm just taking a picture of the hangar. This is absolutely amazing. It's right on the side of a mountain. Finally found something with the name of the town on it. It's this hotel, Arakova we were just in, built right on the side of a mountain. There's the valley. Port of Piraeus, and this is the bow of the ship that we're leaving on. And this is just organized confusion at this point. There's all the ferry boats and the other cruise ships, and there's the city of Piraeus. There's the port. This is Piraeus. It's just a 20-minute drive from Athens. This is the port of Athens. We haven't even gotten underway in the fight.